President Trump is set to hold a landmark summit with Russia's President Putin in Helsinki, Finland on July the 16th. The meeting will take place in the immediate aftermath of a NATO summit in Brussels, as well as President Trump's visit to the UK, as the Trump administration is seeking to ensure sustainable peace in Europe.
The President deeply believes that having Russia be part of these important geostrategic conversations is inevitable, and that there's a long history of that.
According to several statements from top US officials and Russian diplomats, the two presidents are expected to address a wide range of issues pertaining to regional and global security, Islamic terror and economic challenges. This summit comes amid a level of turmoil the European continent hasn't witnessed since 1945, with millions of displaced persons flooding Europe as part of the mass migration crisis and the Kremlin's war against Ukraine, which is now entering its fifth year. President Trump made his goals and expectations of the summit very clear, but Putin is a whole different story.
And I've said it from day one, getting along with Russia and with China and with everybody is a very good thing. It's good for the world, it's good for us, it's good for everybody.
The White House is trying to make sense of Putin's assertive behavior in the international arena, which started back in 2014 when the Kremlin-backed Ukrainian president was ousted. That revolution, referred to as an illegitimate coup in the Kremlin's official communications, ended the era of business as usual between Putin's Russia and the rest of civilized world. The Kremlin has backed up its anti-American rhetoric by claiming Russia was taken advantage of by the West in the early 1990s, when Moscow rescinded its control over Eastern Europe, effectively ending the Cold War in exchange for a US promise not to expand NATO presence into the region. That eventually happened, but US and NATO officials have publicly denied such a promise has ever been made.
NATO bases are moving toward our western borders. NATO infrastructure has been moving closer, as well as the number of military personnel is increasing. What are we supposed to do? Should we just sit idly by and watch indifferently? No, it's not going to happen.
This is the main sticking point in the US-Russian relations from the Kremlin's standpoint. Back in Washington, however, top officials and lawmakers are concerned with the Kremlin's annexation of Crimea, support for Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, and most importantly, in the context of US partisan politics, the alleged Russian tampering with US elections. President Trump and Putin are expected to achieve a mutual understanding on these matters as well, but there is no guarantee a dialogue in good faith would magically resolve the lingering issues in bilateral relations. Besides, Helsinki residents are hardly enthusiastic ahead of the summit.
But are you happy about Finland's role here, arranging that meeting?
No, I think it's we are put like between two fires maybe, or something like that. It's not that comfortable.
Meantime, voices of concern of the upcoming Trump-Putin summit are on the rise in the UK. British officials believe the Kremlin is involved in the poisoning of former double agent Sergei Skripal and his daughter Julia in the town of Salisbury earlier this year, along with the mysterious deaths of at least 14 other Russian exiles in Britain. Additionally, UK intelligence believes the Kremlin's inner circle has offshored trillions of dollars of corruption money from Russia into Western bank accounts and assets, and this transnational corruption, not Russia itself, could undermine the legitimacy of these institutions in the UK, EU and the US.
Meanwhile, unilateral domestic measures which could still have a real impact are those which follow the money, whether it's the Magnitsky Act or something even more rigorous and far-reaching, which tackles the ill-gotten gains of the few instead of the general sanctions which hurt the many.
Whilst the preparations for the upcoming summit are underway, officials on both sides of the Atlantic have warned against high expectations of the meeting, as the policies of mutual containment appear to play far too significant role in domestic politics, both in Moscow and in Washington. Kristian, Rouz, One American News.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.